Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is so great to be with you tonight, Friday, January 26, 2024. We've been having a ball this week. Before we get into the topic, I do want to thank you for being here with me and helping me continue to grow. I mean, right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know where we're at because I always do share that with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at over 147,000 downloads. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Please do scan that QR code. Please do go to believemeachieve.com and please follow me on TikTok. The reason is that I want to create more content on TikTok, but in order to stream, I have to have over 1,000 followers. I have over 140 some thousand here. I'm sure we should be able to get that going on TikTok pretty easily. All right. So a little bit about me, in case you guys don't know who I am. I'm sure you know who I am, but in case you don't, I'm John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm a podcast host, I'm a podcast coach, and I'm a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. Now, I typically do work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. They either know what their story is or they want me to find it with the stories. But the most important thing is that I do it from the truth, from the true core, not something that's made up. This whole week, we've been starting off with a really great topic, and we're wrapping it up tonight. It's finding our way to becoming a leader. We talked with scouts, how that can help. We talked about what leadership is. Tonight, we're going to talk about what leadership isn't, because I think that's important, because a lot of times we talk about what it is, but if we talk about what it isn't, that might give us more of an understanding of, hey, why is something going this way? Why is it not going that way? So here it is, everyone. Unveiling the essence of leadership, what it truly is not. Okay, leadership is not a power play. Not a power play. What do I mean by not being a power play? Well, it's not about you, culminating your powers and harnessing influence so that you can just, wave your fingers or magic wand and just get people to do things because you believe that's what a leader is. That's wrong. It is not about command and control. Now, let me say what I mean by this. It's not about telling or controlling. It's about guiding and empowering. Okay, so there's a difference. You can lead and get people to go down the right direction by empowering them, but you don't manipulate them. You don't coerce them. You get them to be part of something that's a common mission. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. It's no secret. But if you're about the command and control or the dictatorship, you might get some followers in the beginning, but you're going to lose a lot of them as you move along. All right. It's not about being the lone warrior. Leadership's not about doing it all yourself and, oh, woe is me. And it thrives on us collaborating. We talked about that in Scouts. We talked about that in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. Science, technology, engineering, art, and math, right, was where they throw the art in there. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm the leader and I have to do what I have to do because I'm the leader. And it all comes down to me. Sometimes it requires you to do that to get started, but you always should have support. If you don't, that's not a good thing. All right. So what else is leadership not? Leadership is not about you always knowing the answer. So it might seem great that all leaders appear like they have this infinite confidence, but that's not it. It's confidence that they always know the answer, almost a conceited confidence, a cockiness. That's not what a leader is. So a leader sometimes has to learn. So a leader needs to sometimes become the student, and the student then become the leader. So that is very, 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 very important. So confidence. It's not about having that continual confidence. Sometimes they lack it. And then it's also not about the Omniscience Illusion, which is leadership always is about people that have the answers. Okay. But it's about those that know how to find the resources to get the answers. I remember taking an open book test. I think it was in French. And it was a very, very hard test in my high school, Newman Prep. And I figured it was going to be easy because it was open book. Well, wrong. Open book tests are harder because, you have to know where to go in the book. You only have an hour or an hour and a half, whatever the class time is. I think this was a 90-minute class. And that can be daunting for some people. The fact that, it's open book, it seems so easy, but really it is not that easy, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's respect does matter, okay? It's not about demeaning others, but lifting them up. So what does it mean to demean? Well, according to our good old friend Merriam-Webster, I'm going to tell you what demean means. Demeaning. So demeaning, and this is according to Merriam-Webster, it's an adjective, damaging or lowering the character, status, I'm going to say morale, or reputation of someone or something. For example, the teammate demeaned the other player when he struck out on the third bat. Demeaning. So a lot of people put pressure on leaders. You know why? They don't have the chutzpah, the guts to get up and be a leader. So when the leader doesn't shine that one time, they shine all the time, but that one time that they miss the boat, just that one time, they're ready to come there with the daggers and the swords and the guns. And I mean that proverbially. And, when somebody does that to me, which is very rare, I say to them, well, if you have all the ideas, why don't you be the leader? I'd be happy to sit in the back row and just, learn from you. And you know what? They shut up because they just want to flap their mouth like this, and they don't really have a plan. Leadership, when we talk about credit, okay? Credit where credit is due. So leadership is not about you always taking the credit, but sharing the success and also rewarding those that actually come up with the ideas. Leadership is also not about evading responsibility. It's about personal accountability. It's embracing it. People break personal accountability because either they're lazy, they find out that it's different than they expected. It's uncomfortable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, life is uncomfortable sometimes, and we have to push through. I've been there, done it. I'm sure I'll have that again. We get uncomfortable moments. And sometimes these uncomfortable moments make us want to give up. I want to tell you that there's a lot of things you could do. I know this isn't a religious show, but many of you guys know I'm Roman Catholic, and I do believe in prayer and the Bible. But if you're not, that's okay. You can do other things, like I also meditate. And also, I can't stress how important it is to express gratitude. That's right. Express gratitude. So if I asked you again, what leadership is not? So leadership is not, hopefully will get you to realize what it should be. It's not about charisma. It's not about having, the perfect finesse to be able to deliver a speech. Of course, that's nice, but that's not what leadership is born upon. It's not about being a genius. You can, but it's not about being a genius. You don't have to be a genius to be a leader. Understand that leadership is not about a position. It's not about a title. It never was. It's about helping others. It's about mentoring them. It's about guiding them. It's about encouraging them to step up to become leaders. Every human being can begin as a leader. Every single one. Leadership is not about arrogance, although a lot of leaders are arrogant because, it is, they get sick and tired, or they get frustrated because nobody wants to help them. So they get arrogant, hoping that maybe they'll get support. But that's actually not the right tactic. A leader is not there to serve themselves. A leader is there to serve others. A true leader does not desire followers. A true leader inspires others and to find leadership within themselves. Whether somebody wants to follow me or not is up to them. I lead and I create a better world for myself and hope others will join me, but I'm not here waiting for them. I love to do what I do. A leader is a link in a chain of a very long complexity. Every leader that have come before you is different, and every one is another link in the chain of an existence. Okay? A leader embraces a role in the cosmic progression and sublime symphony, knowing you're not the first, but you're part of a greater chain. That teaches us what a leader is. A manager, do not confuse the two things. Managers, most presidents and CEOs fall in this category, and it's meant to ensure that massive enterprises with many moving parts work as efficiently and seamlessly as possible. Leaders are all about new possibilities. Pre-existing realities require management. Leadership's not a fantasy, guys. It's about the fact that you can change the reality. You don't have to be an expert to lead. A true leader will shake people from where they are to where they could be. What I like to say is to rock them to their core. You don't have to beg. You don't have to plead. You don't have to yell. You don't have to scream. You don't have to do any of that to be a leader. Some people feel that in order for them to be a leader, that they've got to be outspoken, that they've got to have the last word. You know what leaders are about? Leaders are about being supportive, right? Leaders are about following their heart. And lastly, when we talk about leaders, every day there are going to be leaders around you, every single day. Okay? They have a vision and they want to execute it. When you're a leader, you show up as the authentic self that you truly are, not the self that other people want you to be. Leaders need to communicate effectively. We've said this before. Leaders have to be creative to sometimes get their mission across. Leaders have to also, if they have a team that's following them, remember that it's about servant leadership. And that doesn't mean that I'm better than you. And it's not a magical formula. It's about maintaining power and control to empower others, not to dominate or foreshadow them. Using employees to maximize efficiency, to enabling and learning and innovating. When we think of a person, whether it's a volunteer or whether it's an employee or a colleague or a client, and we think of them as a pawn. That's right, someone that's on the chessboard, someone that I have to either jump and replace or someone that I want to empower. A leader is not there so he or she can be on a pedestal. A leader takes care of others, but it doesn't mean that he or she is a martyr. Leaders know they got it right. Okay? Instead of shouting from the rooftop that there's a fire in the kitchen, their team says the problem was resolved and here's how we did it. They delegate. They don't stamp on the back of other people. They look for ways to lift people up so they can see their true potential and their ability to actually becoming a leader. People often tell them, I thought about how you would handle it. See, that's a great thing. Well, how did you solve the crisis we had with the air traffic controller? How did you solve the crisis we had with the supply chain? Well, John, I thought about how you would have handled it, and I acted in that way. That's a true leader. Before I do say goodbye to you tonight, I want to leave you with one important thing. We've talked about what a leader is, what a leader isn't. I want to tell you the most important thing about a leader is to lead from your heart and not from your ego. Lead from your heart and not from your ego. So what is your ego, if you guys are wondering what an ego is? So ego is a part of you that's engaged in self-justification. Lead from the heart. Your heart is a lot more than an organ that pumps blood. Lead from it. It will not steer you wrong. Don't lead from this, the ego up here. That will get you into trouble many times over. I hope you guys have really enjoyed learning, listening, and watching, and just being exposed to what leaders are and what leaders are not. And you might hit a lot of people in this world and they were like, well, you know, this is what a leader is. This entire week, we talked about finding our way to becoming a leader. And there are many ways to find your truth in being a leader. But what I want to share with you, when I said to you, lead from your heart, not from your ego, you know what's right as a leader. And don't let somebody put you down or manipulate you into creating something they want, which would not be the greater good for you or the entire team. That's where I leave you tonight, guys. And again, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I am a podcast host and I'm a podcast coach. And I'm a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. I typically do work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and I love to help them find out the truth, whether they know it themselves or they want me to discern what that is, but I always do it from the core and from the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. Lead with your heart, not with your ego. And not only will you empower people, but people will be carrying your example and they'll be lifting you up, not because they have to, but because they want to, because you have truly done something that a lot of leaders don't do. You've taught them how to do something. You might have learned the phrase many years ago, I can give you money or food to eat for a day. Or I can teach you how to fish and you'll be able to eat for life. If you're a leader, make sure that you are teaching your team how to lead for life, not just for the situation that's at hand. Have yourself a great rest of your night. And remember, lead with this, the heart, not with your ego. And you'll be the star of your organization. Take care, everyone, and be well. Okay?